All right, we're gonna give this a shot this morning. I'm told that if there is music in the background, that TikTok will automatically lag the live. So let's experiment. Any type of music. Apparently, even if you're playing your own music, I read somewhere, like on an instrument, which seems absurd. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening over there. Can you guys hear me okay? Should I turn this down a little bit? Is it really loud? Is it really? Oh, no worry, Diana. Thank you. Thank you for being you, my love. Hey, Nikki, how's the Kriya going? I had to start over again. That's what happened last year when I did this Kriya. When I did a Kriya last year, I ended up having to start over a couple of times before I finally completed it. But that said, so last year when I did the 40-day Kriya, I went live every single day to do the Kriya. If you don't know, Kundalini Kriya is a specific type of practice to affect the energy body. So we do them for 40 days because it takes about 40 days for us to ingrain a new habit. You're starting over too, Nikki. Yeah. Oh, good, Rand. Thank you. So last year I went live every day and did the 40-day Kriya for like 10 minutes. I think it was a 9-minute Kriya. So I did like 10 to 15 minutes every day on a live, which was fine. But I was worried that I was kind of missing people because I was at a specific time and people weren't getting to practice with me. So this year I tried by doing the sharing the thing and doing it all self-paced, but I feel like something's still missing. So I might try to restart the Kriya as a whole. Now, once we finish the 40 days, then the entire playlist will be there. And the whole online program will be created. So I can probably like boost it a little bit more and maybe even, make a daily video or go live on top of the practice ones. I don't know. Trying to figure out how best to get this stuff to you guys. It seems like as soon as you follow me on TikTok, you don't get to see my content because only about 5% of my followers are actually seeing my content. Again, thanks, TikTok. We're going to so FYI, if you do follow me and you're not seeing my content, go check out my stuff. It is there. I am posting every single day. And now posting in widescreen because that's what we all want to look at on a tiny little screen is a little widescreen, right? I love you guys. Okay. Enough of that. I made myself nearly the perfect coffee this morning. I quit coffee last year for probably like 6 to 8 months, maybe. And then I added it back here and there, little bits here and there. But now I use my coffee as kind of a delivery system for other things. Like I will use a little bit of coffee with an adaptogen blend, mushroom blend powder, plus a beetroot latte powder that I found somewhere that's like beetroot and cinnamon and a couple other turmeric and things like that, right? So I'll use the coffee because coffee is actually medicinal in small doses. And is a vehicle in herbalism. When we create medicines, we create them by the rule of 3. There is a one to treat, one to soothe, and one to direct. And coffee is a very directive and like expedient herb medicine. So when you add things to it like that, it actually helps your body get it quicker. It is also a diuretic too, though. So be careful because that also means that your body's going to get rid of stuff quicker too. So you want to follow coffee, always follow coffee with water. If you have more than 1 cup of coffee a day, please have a equal size, if not bigger, glass of water in between. That's my public service announcement for this morning about coffee, I guess. Diana, how do you find my stuff? Oh, don't come for my coffee. Billy, no, I was just talking it up. Talking about how medicinal it can be, right? Diana, maybe it's best to get on a Zoom call together. We can schedule a free private consultation. That way I can walk you through how to get into the website, how to find the website, how to get to the Kaya Sangha, how to enter the code, how to get in, how to find everything. It's not the easiest. And part of that right now is because I'm on a platform that doesn't seem to be working for what I'm doing. So we're going to have to be switching platform soon. But that said, hey, there's Mew Mew. No, that's not Mew Mew. That's Quark. One of our black kitties hasn't been around lately. So sorry. Yes. Diana, if you will please send me a message so that I see the message when I get off the live, I will then send you the link directly to book that free consultation so that you don't have to go searching for it on the internet. Diana, that just made me think of that. What's that song? I will wait for you. Okay, so guys, is the background music okay? Is it too loud? Can you not hear it? Is it barely, now that I'm sitting back here, now that we're getting ready to slip into some meditative shenanigans instead of just general shenanigans? Anybody have any complaints? Good. Hey, my unicorn friend. I need to get together with some of you friends. We need to have like a descending gathering on someplace. All right, I guess we'll get going here. Hello. For those of you who do not know me and wonder what the hell is going on, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, facilitating movement in breath, body, and being. I am your shenanigan shaman and the owner of movewithchange.com, which is an online platform where we are building a community of like-minded folks who are on this path of self-discovery, who are doing this work to come home to themselves, who are rediscovering and learning to fall in love with themselves again. And if you're doing that work, you know it can get fucking messy and it can be weird and it can be wacky, and we all need a space to show up exactly as we are, especially in those moments where it gets messy and weird and wacky and you don't know who else to call and you don't know who else to talk to, right? So that is our Kaya Sangha. The CAYA, Kaya stands for come as you are, because authenticity is the purest expression of your purpose in this life, right? Your divinity, it's divinity shining through you. And ultimately, that's who we want to see. So we're a safe space where we cultivate radical inclusion, revolutionary kindness, and we approach each other with curiosity and willingness. So this is also an extension of that space. These are the free classes that I offer. If you would like to join that space, you can go check it out at movewithchange.com. You can also subscribe here on TikTok, YouTube. I will soon have a subscription option for YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't yet. I need 500 subscribers. So if everybody could run over and subscribe to YouTube real quick so we can keep going, that'd be awesome. When you subscribe here on TikTok, you will receive a free month to the Kaya Sangha. So I was saying last night on my last live, I really do my best to pack that Kaya Sangha with as much value as possible. I am not interested in trying to manipulate you guys out of your paychecks, right? I want to find something equitable and sustainable that's supportive for all of us, right? So with the Kaya Sangha membership, you receive twice weekly group coaching, once weekly practice sessions on top of all these live classes that we do. And then as a member, you get steep discounts on all of my private sessions, and you get full access to every single workshop that I offer, which are all sold externally. So I do 30-minute coaching sessions for $90. So for $77, you're getting twice weekly group coaching and private practice session, discounts on private services, and all of my workshops. Yeah. And if that price tag is something that is difficult for you, or you find yourself in a dip and you need to renegotiate, call me up to negotiate. I am more than happy to make sure that you can stay in a space that feels supportive and wholesome for you, rather than feeling like you get locked out every time you can't quite make the bill, right? Yeah, we're not doing that. It's not about that. It is about inclusion. It is about information sharing. It is about growing together. Because one of my favorite quotes, I haven't said this one in a while, is by Thich Nhat Hanh. I really, if you haven't listened to Thich Nhat Hanh speak, please do. We lost that. He passed on last year, but he reminds us that the next coming of the Buddha or the enlightened one is unlikely to be a single person, but instead a sangha, a community of people practicing mindfulness together. So we are in that time frame. We are in that place in our evolution where we are realizing the divinity that lives within us, the divinity that enlivens us, that breathes through us in every moment, in every day. And it's no longer about looking for a leader on high, an ascended leader. It is realizing that within each of us is that same wisdom, is that same alignment, is the opportunity, is the availability of that divine connection. So these are, you have stumbled in, if you are new again, you've stumbled into our Bhakti Bites classes. So what does Bhakti mean? Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Not some deity, not some religious something, just self-care. Because self-care is one of the first things that we drop off our to-do list. It's one of the first things that we make an excuse for and push aside. But it's the first thing where it's the first place where everything starts. And if we forget our self-care, if we forgo our self-care, we end up creating situations where we are suffering, lacking, needing in ways that can't be satisfied until we give ourselves that self-care. Hey, Corey, thanks. So what we do here is we practice bite-size types of mindfulness, bite-sized tools for mindfulness. So mudras have been the focal point of our Bhakti Bite sessions for some time now, because there are so many mudras and they're really easy in the moment to just grab a mudra real quick and align yourself. I was sitting in meditation last night and not unintentionally, because I was doing my Kriya and then I put my arms down and then I kind of just naturally moved my hands into a different mudra. Actually, it was a combination of the Gyan mudra, and then I put them across my lap like this. And now I've been working with energy for a long time, so I'm really sensitive to this kind of stuff. But I put this here and immediately could feel that channel shift. I immediately felt the way that it affected my entire energy body. Mudras, when we sit with them, can be extremely powerful tools, whether you feel that charge run through you or not. The mudra still does its work. Mudras work by redirecting the energy, the channels in the energy body, right? And again, the channels in the energy body are well documented, have been documented for a long time by Eastern medicines. So if you have any questions about those, you're welcome to go do a look at the mountains of research about it. So mudras work to connect and redirect these energy channels. One thing to remember, please, when you are holding your mudra, you want to make sure that you are never using more than the weight of a nickel. So our mudra that we've been working with this week is called the Panchamukha mudra. And Panchamukha translates to 5 faces. So this mudra is done by connecting the 5 faces. Thanks, Adriana. The 5 faces of your fingertips together. Now remember, no more than the weight of a nickel, right? This mudra is actually really easy to fall into on accident. So I really like this one because it actually helps us stay present in our meditation rather than getting too far away. Because when our consciousness runs too far away, our hands kind of slip. Our intention gets dragged away with it, right? So what are the most important parts of meditation is your intention and your attention. Don't worry about anything else. Those thoughts, those worries, those fears, the sounds in the other room, all of these things rise and fall the same way your heart rises and falls on your breath if we allow them. And we bring our attention back every time they disturb us, every time they try to pull us away, we bring our attention back to our intention. So for this meditation, our intention is going to be to focus on our mudra, and then we're going to move through a breath visualization. This mudra works to balance both hemispheres of the brain. You can even see it like a little brain here, right? Both sides of the brain. And it works on the corpus callosum, the bridge between the two hemispheres. So it works to strengthen the connection between both hemispheres of the brain. It also benefits the tendons in the body, and it activates the body's self-healing properties, which are specific to the solar plexus and the gut. There's a lot of healing that happens when we sleep in our gut. Our body heals itself. Believe it? Yeah, on its own. So this mudra, again, connecting all 5 faces, and then you hold it here at the solar plexus. You can hold it in this position like this, or you can turn it like this and rest your elbows in a little bit. I've got neurogenic thoracic outlet syndrome, so this for a long time doesn't work very well for me. And it's okay to modify the practice to a way that suits you so that you can comfortably enjoy the practice rather than creating a battle within yourself, rather than fighting yourself, rather than pushing yourself so hard you're trying to break down all the walls and boundaries. Hey, it's not a fight. We are not in the business of making enemies within ourselves or of ourselves or treating ourselves like there are enemies or bullying ourselves, right? It is about being gentle, opening the space and creating the invitation for us to show up for ourselves. So when you are ready, if it is available to you, please find yourself a comfortable seated position. Now, if you are laying down, feel free to do this mudra laying down. If you're walking, feel free to just grab this mudra while you're walking. Probably won't be able to close your eyes. If you're driving, just keep your hands on the wheel. Okay. But you can still stick around if you're driving or walking or not even holding the mudra. I promise you, you will catch some of this sweet, sweet, sweet vibe. Okay. When you are ready, go ahead and grab your mudra, the Panchamukha mudra, no more than the weight of a nickel on those fingers. And hold on, guys, just one second. I realize that YouTube is private. No, it's not. Dang it. Why does it do that? Sorry, guys, just one second. Tech issues. Okay. All right. I can tech. All right, my friends. Let's slip into our meditation. Our meditations usually last from like 5 to 10 minutes. They're not very long. Take what you want out of it. Go to leave, stay at whatever point feels comfortable for you. If you don't want to continue with the meditation, if there's something in the beginning that you're like, I just want to stay here, stay there. When we end the meditation, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave when you need to, whatever. You are your own guru. You are the one who leads you from darkness to light, and you are the one who needs to bring yourself into this practice, who needs to hold the space for this practice, who needs to choose to be gentle and kind to yourself. I can't do that for you. But if you sit with me for meditation and just give it a shot, approach yourself and this practice with curiosity and willingness, I guarantee you, you'll at least get a tiny gift, at the very least. Probably like a chuckle or two, right? Okay. Thank you, Tanya. All right. Go ahead and grab your Panchamukha mudra by connecting the 5 faces of your fingertips together. Hold it in front of the solar plexus. Remember, no more than the weight of a nickel on your fingertips. And when you are ready, if it is safe to do so, please close your eyes, and we will begin with 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Inhale through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold for a moment. And release. Now for just a moment, follow the breath. Follow your inhale all the way to the top. Follow the exhale all the way to the bottom. Elongating the breath, finding a comfortable, slow rhythm of breath. Not so slow that you're trying to catch your breath every couple of breaths. A comfortable, steady rhythm. Right now, our intention is only to follow the breath. So when anything shows up as a distraction, anything tries to pull our attention away, we bring our attention back to our intention, which is to follow the breath. Inhale to the top, exhale to the bottom. Nothing else in this moment but the breath. Inhale that intention to stay with the breath. And exhale any tension in the body, in the mind. Feel your intention. Exhale any tension. Meditation is not the practice of being perfect. It is the practice of showing up, being present. Follow the breath. Inhaling to the top, exhaling to the bottom. I'm going to shift our awareness just a little bit. I want you to envision, without moving, without changing anything, envision that you are inhaling only through the right nostril and exhaling only through the left. Again, no need to do anything. The breath is probably going to come in and out of both nostrils, but it's really just about the intention. Focusing on the right side of the body on the inhale and the left side of the body for the exhale. Focusing your awareness on the inhale from the right nostril and the exhale from the left. Continue with this cycle for several breaths, inhaling through the right nostril, exhaling through the left, holding your mudra with no more than the weight of a nickel. Slow, steady breaths. Inhale for the right, exhale for the left. And as you inhale through the right and exhale through the left, you may notice the sensation of the inhale expanding from just your nose to maybe the rest of your face or even the rest of your body. Notice the inhale rising in the right side of your body, and notice the exhale falling in the left side of your body. We just rest our attention on this intention, to feel the inhale from the right and the exhale from the left. Don't worry about perfection, about visualization, or if you feel like you can't quite visualize, or just again, bring your attention back to the intention. Even if you say to yourself, inhale right, exhale left. Use the tools available to you to anchor yourself into the present moment. Couple more breaths, inhaling right, exhaling left. Last one. Now we're going to switch. Inhale left. Allow that inhale to rise fully through the left side of your body. Inhale through the left nostril and exhale down the entire right side of your body, out the right nostril. As you focus your attention on this intention, notice any differences you feel as you breathe the opposite sides. Notice what you feel, but there's no need to attach a story or go down, follow it down a rabbit hole. Just note, huh, that's different. That's the same. Or it's soothing. Or this side feels a little more stuck. Just note and return to your breath. Return to your intention. Inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Take 3 more long, slow, steady breaths here. Inhaling left, exhaling right, allowing the breath to move through the full length of the body. Last one. I invite you to release the mudra and lay one hand over the other over your heart. And take a big, deep breath in. Again, this time imagining the inhale covering the entire body, moving through from the toes all the way up to the top of your head. Literally fill your being with your breath. Focus all of your attention on this process, inhaling the breath to fill your entire being. Hold at the top. And then give yourself a nice heavy exhale. Inhale again, all the way, the full length of the body from the toes to the crown of the head. Hold. Allow that fresh, clean oxygen to swirl around inside of your being, clearing out anything that is stuck, anything that is heavy, anything that is no longer serving you, anywhere you need a little bit more space, this breath clearing. And exhale. Return to a normal rhythm of breath. You can stay here as long as you would like. You may return to any other part of the breath practice, at all. When you feel complete, I invite you to either leave your hands here over your heart or bring them together in prayer and gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for the breath, that simple yet powerful healing tool, healing, balancing, grounding. Take a moment to just honor the power of the breath. And offer yourself a little gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for joining me. When you feel complete, please come out of meditation slowly. Offer yourself some wiggles and some stretches and some scritches if you need them. Apparently my mustache was itching. Only opening your eyes when you are really, truly ready to return to the present moment. Well, the rest of the present moment. How'd you like that one? I love the full body breaths. Like I don't know, I shouldn't say we forget. I forget sometimes how powerful the breath in and of itself is, and that intention and that focus, bringing your attention back to your intention and using the breath to literally breathe through the whole body. I am doing an energetic hygiene workshop. As soon as I get it out, I will let you guys know. But there is a breath practice in there for clearing all the chakras where we do something very similar to what we did today. And I invite you to take that practice. Whenever you need a moment to balance yourself, remember that you can simply just focus your attention on the intention of using the breath to clear and balance. You are very welcome. Glad, Nikki. That's a good name for a good word for it. It does. So again, mudras are really powerful tools that you can use anytime, anywhere. And again, we just had this lovely experience here sitting in a quiet moment, right? With some soothing music going on and whatever going on for you, right? Maybe you got your headphones in, we're kind of isolated. But the reason we keep practicing mudras is because mudras are something that you can take anywhere, anytime. If I am sitting out in public and, maybe I'm feeling a little foggy in the head, it's really easy for me to sit like this. I can sit like this on the bus. I can sit like this at a restaurant. I can sit like this while I'm trying to order something, right? Like nobody really notices or pay much attention to the fact that we're doing these little things. And the effectiveness is still there. Just because I can have this visceral experience of it when I'm here doesn't mean that without that experience, it's not working. That is only my awareness of the experience. If I am elsewhere and my consciousness is spread out to other focal points, I'm not going to be really acutely aware of the inner workings, the minor, subtle inner workings of mudras. It's a powerful tool on the go. Yes. I think the biggest hit, I don't know if it was the biggest hit mudra, because the Kubera mudra, the turtle mudra, was also really cool too. But the Hamsi mudra was one that just like really got us all for a couple of weeks there. I don't know which ones of you guys were here or not, but Hamsi mudra is done like so. You create little O's here with your fingers, and then you leave one up. And this is use the Hamsi mudra at concerts. Nice. So this is one to bring a sense of playfulness and lightness into your being. And what's so funny is this mudra really, like, it specifically says there is no specific position for this mudra. So a lot of mudras go like this, or they'll go here, or what have you. This is a any position mudra. And I don't know where Eric is. Some of y'all know Eric, and he really just had me cracked up last year because he kept going, hey, you hit the Hamsi mudra. Like it was like finger guns sort of deal, and was telling me how him and his buddy were like, he was showing his friend the Hamsi mudra, and they're sitting there dancing around and making, being silly. He's like, it really did. Like, I mean, I know it's a silly thing to do, period, but it really brought us a lightheartedness that we didn't expect. You almost can't do it without kind of giggling and smiling. Charity, you have nerve pain in your right thigh. So sitting like this is challenging, but you are practicing. I highly suggest, again, we are not in the business of creating a battle within ourselves and pushing our edges too hard or too big or too fast can often create an equal and opposite reaction. So I invite you, instead of trying to get in a specific position that someone else sits in, find the one that fits you. Find the one that doesn't cause you pain. There are many, many, many different positions you can sit in. I mean, you can even, you can sit on your knees for meditation if you want to. You can, I mean, whatever works for you. We could go through a million seated positions, right? It's not good for the back to sit an extended period of time with your legs extended like this, right? There is a yoga asana staff pose here, but it's not intended for prolonged sitting because it tilts the pelvis in a way that starts to hurt the low back. So here's what I do. So I like to sit in these positions, but I also have some knee issues. And one of the biggest helpers in alleviating that is this. So when I sit in meditation, I don't sit flat on the ground. It's not really great for my low back. I've got low back issues. If you are sitting directly on the ground, I highly recommend you grab your cheeks and pull them out a little bit. And then it creates a slight curvature in the low back. So that's a more natural curvature for the spine. So you can also do that by leaning forward and then kind of sitting back up. So you bring your sits bones back just a tiny bit, right? So that's if you're sitting on the floor. But this is not enough for my low back. So I always have some kind of more firm pillow. And this is actually not even that firm. The other option is a yoga block. These are really nice, gentle, yeah, don't try to get into somebody else's. Hey, D. Yeah, so the yoga block was actually sitting like this was what was able to get me eventually down into these, because over time, it got easier. Over time, the tension in my thighs and in my low back and in my hips started to release, not because I was pushing my boundaries, but because I found the edge and then relaxed into it. Okay. There is a sound, it's a subtle difference, but it's really important for us to acknowledge these things. We tend to approach life like human doings. Like we have to do, push to make things happen. And yes, sometimes, sure, I'll give you that. It's important to work hard for things, yes. But not everything. In fact, a lot of things don't actually require that amount of push. And when we do, we, again, invite an equal reaction, an opposite reaction. So be gentle. Hey, John. Thank you guys for the follow. John, your body is a mess. Mine was too. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in my 20s. Thanks, Nikki. And was on a variety of different medications and pain things. And but I have healed much of, not all of, I'm pretty sure healing is a lifelong process. So I'm not done, but I was diagnosed with neurogenic thoracic outlet syndrome. That is, I mean, essentially, I qualify for disability. I cannot be in any position for too long. I used to cook professionally. I can't do that anymore. I used to work in birth. I can't catch babies anymore because of issues up here, right? And for those of you who have these issues, you know what I mean. It's like you seem fine for a minute, but when you start to do these things, when you start to push too much, it becomes more than just strenuous. It becomes extremely painful. It becomes debilitating. And you have joint pain from Lyme disease diagnosis at age 11. Yeah. The practices, because it's not just asanas. It's not just getting on a mat and doing yoga poses. It is the entire practice of mindfulness is really just about being present with where you are actually at, honoring where you are actually at, and then inviting the space for growth, not coming in with a damn machete to your innards and being like, okay, we're going to change this shit. We're going to fix it. We're going to work super hard and build a bunch of muscle, and then we're going to be great. There are different ways to approach life. There are. And in each one, there are gifts. And the gifts you choose are the gifts for you. The gifts I choose are the gifts for me. And my gifts don't always work for you, right? So I honor each of us for the path that we choose. And I can tell you that I was misguided for a long time because I thought I had to fight and push a lot harder than I really did. And in that, doing so, I hurt myself in many ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in many ways. Because life is not a race. We're not trying to hurry to get to the end. Instead, I would almost say that the opposite is true. I'm trying to slow down time so that I can experience my life as infinite. And you know what? When you practice mindfulness, don't tell anybody. When you practice mindfulness and start bringing your awareness back to the present moment over and over and over again, it changes the quality of your time, your experience of time. Just like when you're excited about something and you're doing something and you're in flow and suddenly time doesn't move the same, or when you're waiting for something, or when you're worried about something and time literally changes the way that it moves. Why? Because time is relative, because it's a relative force in the universe, not static, which means that we can affect it, which means that we can change it, which means that we can experience different degrees of it. And if you would like to experience your life as an infinite experience, I think mindfulness is the way. For me, maybe for you too. Mm-hmm. The universe is not in a hurry. No, the universe is completely present. There is no tomorrow. Tomorrow is just something that we expect to happen. It is just the same cycles over and over and over and over again. And we are so constantly gripping and groping and trying to go backwards and like you're on the coolest ride. Okay, probably not the coolest ride in the universe, but one of the coolest rides in the universe. And you're fighting back against the ride. That's weird. Don't you think it's a little weird? I came from an upbringing that said fight, 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 fight. You have to fight, 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 fight. In a lot of ways. For life, for safety, for security, for love, right? For success. You have to fight. I'm a warrior. Steel yourself. I could never. I tried. I tried. But I am not that kind of warrior. And yes, we need those kinds of warriors, those that are able and willing to suit up and carry weapons and defend. And at the same time, we need the warriors who are brave enough to sit unarmed, unarmored, and vulnerable, accepting and willing. Because there's gifts in that too. We become actually a great deal more safe, secure, and protected when we find that flow of divine authenticity that runs through us. When we release our attachment and our fears, suddenly the world's not so scary and needy anymore. It's a funny thing, the way that happens, huh? It's not easy though, embracing every moment and its experiences. Who's that, John? You said your mind is in an endless state of chaos. So many years ago, I discovered something called internal family systems. It is a psychology theory that says that we each have different facets of self, right? Obviously, the way that you show up for dinner with your parents is going to be different than the way that you show up, to hang out with your kid, or to go on a date, or with your friends. Like the way you show up in different situations is a little bit different. We have different facets of ourselves. We have the motherly part, the fatherly part. We have the hard worker. We have the lazy person, right? We've got all the kids still. We got all these parts within ourselves. So internal family system says that if we can, through things like storytelling and creativity, we can create different characters out of these different parts of self. The reason I'm telling you this, John, is because that's all I had was chaos. And I got diagnosed with all the things, and they tried to give me the drugs for the things, but it didn't stop the chaos. Sometimes it muted the chaos, but there was still chaos. Or it made me feel so disconnected and floaty that the chaos was still happening. I was just floating somewhere way above it, right? It wasn't actually treating the root issue. So I used this technique to create what I now lovingly consider my pirate ship. And when I started to create these different characters, I recognized that each of them has a reason that they're there. To protect me, to help me show up in this way, to help me accomplish something, to keep me safe, to, help me enjoy the situation, whatever it is, whatever their purpose is, they've got purposes. And John, the reality is it all stems from childhood. Because we become, and I don't usually like to use the word programming because there's a lot of misconceptions about that, like using it in that way. But what I mean, there's something called the enculturation process. Up until the age of 7, our brain is still in the dream time, is still in the theta brain waves. And our brain is going through an absorption process that we call enculturation. And it is a process through which unconsciously we adopt and model we adopt and take on the language, eating habits, discussion habits, emotional habits, right? We take on all of these things from our environment for the first 7 years. And then we come out of dreaming. Your children before that are sleepwalking, pretty much. So much of our programming is just made in a time when we're unconscious, in a time when we are biologically only absorbing information. Again, it's to keep us safe. It's so that we fit into our species and we get taken care of, right? Because a baby who doesn't fit, there's something wrong, especially olden days, right? Like there's an issue. But you want to fit. Biologically, we know for survival, we have to fit. And so we have this biological thing that happens is that all of that gets built. Thank you, Charity. All of that gets created. And then it continues to grow into your 20s. And only in your early 20s does your prefrontal cortex come online. It blows my mind, like going to school for this and studying this and reading that and going, fuck, I literally didn't have control. Why do we think teenagers are so, right? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not out of control. What's the word? When something gets you at the grocery stores. Impulsive. Thank you. Whoever said it, whoever thought it, it was impulsive. Why are they so impulsive? Because the part of their brain that mitigates impulsivity, that allows us to stop and consider before we act, isn't even functioning fully yet. Why do our children tell us absurd stories that make no sense, or they're completely illogical in their thinking and their process? Because they're in the dream time, because they're not done growing yet. And so when we get the proverbial keys in our 20s, all this comes online. Okay, here you go. It's finished. There's your temple. What are you going to do with it now? Most of us go run amok, throw a bunch of parties in it, trash the place, graffiti it, let all sorts of people come and go, right? Until we go, dang, maybe that's not the best way to treat my temple. And then we start looking. We go, ooh, oops, there's a crack in the foundation over there. And that window is broken out. Somebody wrote some really awful things on the wall over there. So we start to clean up. We start to take care of our temple. We start to repair temple. This way, as we do that repair, eventually we uncover all the parts of ourselves, the truest, purest parts of ourselves. And through that, we find our divinity. Within that, we find the divinity that runs through us. And we realize our temple is really a temple to house divinity. You realize that higher power, source, God, whatever you want to call it, even just prana, life force, is breathing through you in all moments. If you knew that you were taking care of a little spark of God, how would you let people treat that temple? Would you protect that temple? Would you take care of that temple? Would you honor that temple, knowing that God is not just up there somewhere, listening from far away, or only hearing when the priest tells him something about you? No, but here, not even outside of you, but right here. It might change the way that you speak to yourself. It might change the way that you treat yourself, especially in the face of mistakes. Imagine if you were ushering a young, right, Jesus into the world. Would you want to be that open, compassionate, loving parent for them? Or would you talk to yourself? Would you talk to them the way that you talk to yourself? We are almost always talking meaner to ourselves than we do to anybody else. Yet those are the words that we're communicating to spirit. Spark is infinite and abundant. Yeah. Yeah. Because we are open channels for divinity as we remain open. It is when we begin to close off, it is when we begin to hide away from that, is when we begin to deny that prana that flows through us as the same prana that flows through everything in the universe, that is the universe itself. Thank you, John. We start to, we constrict, we hide, we worry, we compartmentalize and reshape ourselves and pretend to be something else than what we authentically are, because we've been told in this world. And we live in a world that says, no, be the way we tell you to, do the things we tell you to, wear the things we tell you to, eat the things we tell you to, in fact, think the things we tell you to, and everything will be okay. But the things you tell me to twist me and contort me in such a way that I am no longer healthy. I am no longer happy. In fact, I am suffering. You told me to do all the things. I did all the things. I was miserable. I was in pain, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Can you look in the mirror and give that person a thumbs up? That's key. Yeah. I have a daily practice of looking in the mirror and giving myself a smile and saying something kind to myself. Because when you're not used to it, it's really awkward and you have to make time for it, right? For those of us who have some real shitty self-talk, you know what I'm talking about. It's weird. It's weird to be kind to yourself. So I find exaggerating it, doing it in the mirror and laughing, really helps create space for it. Charity, you find that you're having a hard time because of the amount of love that you do have for yourself. Interesting. There is this space too, that love for ourselves that is so far beyond love for other, is not balanced with love for other, is equally as unhealthy as lack of love for self. It's, one extreme or the other. And what we're looking for is that balance. Doggy question? Yes. We often, yeah, are held hostage by our past. But again, I think that comes from the not having the recognition that our past is past and that our past gets attached in our body. And so things that happen then can still physically be with us, emotionally be with us now. It's literally how we're wired because of those early things. And so it's imperative for us to start doing the internal excavation work of repairing our temple, of taking stock of what condition it's in and making repairs. Otherwise, we will suffer with our past. We will suffer with all of those cracks, with all of those graffiti on the walls, with all the shit that has been on all the years. If we never clean house, then we will continue to be burdened by the things that we have done and brought into that temple. Yeah. So clean house. I love that, Charity. Living and loving life. Oftentimes when we put it as searching too, right? Searching means we're looking for something that we don't already have. I've tried to move away from using the word seeking because I've always called myself a seeker. I'm always seeking more knowledge and understanding. But then I realized that even by saying that, I'm placing it outside of myself elsewhere. So now I invite. Actually, there's some really amazing graffiti artwork in some pretty decent neighborhoods. So that luckily is not only a telltale sign of a, what did you say, bad neighborhood. In fact, I've seen some of the most amazing pieces of artwork called graffiti in some of the most beautiful places in the world, actually. I think it's, yeah. All right, my friends. So for those of you who are members at the Kea Sangha, we do have our group coaching here in less than 10 minutes. So I've got to boogie really quick so that I can send out the Zoom link. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we are building an online community, a mindfulness community where we practice radical inclusion, revolutionary kindness, and we show up with curiosity and willingness so that we can all have a safe space to show up in our authenticity, especially if it gets messy, especially if it's weird and quirky and you don't know who else to call to talk about it. That's the space. So if you'd like to join us at the Kea Sangha, you can find that at withchange.com. The link is in my bio, or you can subscribe here on TikTok and you receive a free month over at the Kea Sangha. The Kea Sangha, you get twice weekly group coaching, once weekly practice session on top of all the live classes, as well as discounts on every single service I offer and full access to every single workshop I create while for the duration of you being a member. So there's a ton of perks. Like I said, I try to pack full the Kea Sangha membership with as much as possible so that you guys aren't trying to like buy a workshop here and get a little session here and then do a little thing here. It's just better to just do the Sangha thing. So if you have any questions about it, let me know. You can ask me via message or you can email me at movewithchange@gmail.com. You can send me a message through the website, movewithchange.com. If you have any questions about working directly with me in private sessions, you can find those at Move with Change. You can also send me a message. For those of you who do not know who the hell I am, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being. I am your shenanigan shaman and the owner of change.com. So, for those of you who are members, I will see you in like 5 minutes. And for those of you who are not, come join us. Come try it out. And that's why I offer that free month is so you can come try it out. And if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to stay. We're not trying to like, drag people into something they don't want to be in. We're trying to cultivate a space that is safe and inclusive and sustainable. So if you'd like to be part of it, let me know. Yeah, of course, guys. Thank you all so much. Remember, Dream Baby, yes, anyone can. It is a paid membership though. So But if you have any questions about membership levels or want or need to negotiate the prices for memberships or private sessions, always let me know. I'm always up for negotiation, even for trade. I am not the kind of person who puts a dollar sign in the door and uses it at a lock as a lock to keep people out. I'd rather information share. I'd rather make sure everybody gets the services they need in an equitable way. Yeah. Okay. So everyone, please, if you could do me a favor and go follow on YouTube. I'm trying to cultivate that channel so I can also offer subscriptions and more extensive classes over there as well. Again, we are at Move with Change on YouTube. Okay. And replays, if you missed the meditation this morning, the replay is always on YouTube at Move with Change. If you guys are wondering when my classes are, I have a schedule always pinned to the top of the content here on TikTok as well as over there on YouTube. Much love to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the joins. And I will see you in coaching.